Hello, it's Emily Clement, founder and facilitator of a pretty awesome membership community, Midlife Redefined, for women at a pivot point. So good. What I want to do today is to talk about creating an extraordinary life. There is a lot going on right now. I am not, there's chaos and there is fear, and it is global. I understand that. I'm not being dismissive or glossing over or blowing sunshine. But we have been gifted with freedom and free will and choice. So I think it's fascinating that our response to this global pandemic is remarkably different. So what I want to do, again, without devaluing what's happening globally, is for you individually to create an extraordinary life. It's still possible. It is still possible. So when I think about it, you can be coming from a place of fear and worry and doubt and insecurity and rage and scarcity and lack, or you can be coming from a place of gratitude and ease and abundance and alignment and joy and fun and community. Because we have been, me, have been gifted with free will. So life is a choose your own adventure. Choose extraordinary. And so when I start meeting with clients, a lot of it is about what would an extraordinary life look and feel like to you. Sometimes we get a little too stuck in the what would it look like, and we're more sensitive to the stuff and things. But really my invitation is for you to start to think about, which we're going to do today in this video, start to think about your emotional set point. What are the emotions that you would experience if you were living an extraordinary life? This is really good. Us humans, we are vibrational beings, right? All living things are pure energy. And so as something that is pure energy, as a living being, we are always creating a vibration. This is our vibe, right? Good vibes only. Good vibes, high vibes. So what we want to do is be moving up the emotional scale to increase our vibration, to increase our mood, to increase our emotional state. So those high vibes, when you are at a high vibe, when you are experiencing feelings of love, joy, goodness, kindness, community, fun, that is when you are at a high vibe. When we are in that place of low vibe, when we are experiencing feelings of insecurity, worry, doubt, rage, all those hard, heavy things, fear, right? If you look at it as a spectrum, fear is on one side and love is on the other. So what we want to do is to make sure that you are moving toward love so that you are feeling more comfortable and confident in your own skin, that you're coming from a place of ease and flow instead of those low vibe feelings that are really difficult to manage, especially if you're turning on the news or social media. I understand you're working from home and having kids home and paychecks. It's very stressful. Again, I'm not dismissing that, but the only thing we can control is our own thoughts and feelings and behaviors. So what we need to do is to do as expected as far as keeping ourselves clean and distanced from other people. Like, there are certain things. But again, what I want to talk about today is that your emotional state is your point of attraction. Your emotional state is your point of attraction. So whatever the feelings are that you are experiencing, you are going to be attracting comparable situations, people, relationships, experiences. So you want to make sure that you are taking care of that vibration, taking care of that emotional state so that you can attract the things that you do want. So it's so simple, it's easy to overlook it, for sure. So what happens when I meet with clients, what happens when women join my membership, we always start off with what would you love? What is it that you would love? So if I'm sprinkling fairy dust on you or waving my magic wand, what would you love? And once we start to get clear about all the things that we would love individually, my next question is, this is what you want, why don't you have it? And what happens is we come from a place of fear that once we start to pick up momentum, we can see what we want and that it's possible, sometimes some of us self-sabotage to keep ourselves small and stuck instead of moving forward. That does not feel good at all. Or we start to imagine this magnificent, extraordinary life for ourselves, and then fear takes over, and what will people think? And what if I can't maintain it? Or what if I run out of time? What if I run out of money? What if, what if, what if? Those are all anxiety questions. They're all future-based questions. And so once we start to decide all the things that we desire, it's easy to slam on the brakes and just go back to the comfortable and familiar. Yeah, comfort zone. Our comfort zone is exactly that. It's predictable and it's routine, and we don't have to take any risks or chances. So we tend to continuously do the things that we've always done. My warning, the caution is that if you continue to do the things you've always done, you're going to continue to get the same results and experiences. In my opinion, this is how decades disappear. Decades disappear because you're just living on repeat. So now that globally that the world is in a different place during these last few weeks, we have to start to get clear about, well, who am I? What do I value most? And how do I want to show up into the world? These are big questions, but this is all about creating an extraordinary life. So for me personally, I have a lot of hometown pride, Laconia, New Hampshire, like a lot of hometown pride. And I bought a house in the summer of 2008, and it was my sanctuary. My beautiful New Englander. I had clients there, Airbnb guests. I hosted hockey players, junior hockey players during their hockey season, family, friends, happy hour, like you name it, neighborhood gatherings. I loved to host at my home. And I loved the way it was decorated, the way it smelled, the way it was, like all of the things, the colors, the textures, hand-picked local artist work on my walls. And so I had a belief that I was going to live there forever. It was my forever home. But this is the thing. No, we continuously shift into wanting new experiences and meeting new people, or I do. I like variety myself. So what happened last spring, I had over 300 magnificent Airbnb guests stay with me during my time when I rented out my upstairs. We shared space. We completely shared space. People would come down for coffee. We'd have coffee in the morning in pajamas. Amazing, amazing conversation. Why are people here? What are they doing? What's their story? Who do we know in common? Like, just really fun, vibrant conversations. But what happened was I had one guest who, beautiful boy, was in recovery and relapsed in my house. And he was using heroin upstairs in my house. And he was there for 5 nights. So, you get to know someone when you see them like that. And it was a little frightening. So police intervention got him into rehab. But he left the house pretty disgusting. And there was a lot of cleanup, a lot of bleach. So what happened is that I was starting to feel like I have outgrown this. Like, this incident shifted my perspective. And at the same time, 2019, I was a student in Tony Robbins Master University. So I was going to all these high-end events with people who are personal development junkies and are curious about how they can create their own extraordinary life, enthusiastic about helping others. So vibrationally, right, we're talking about our emotions here, vibrationally, I felt joyful, enthusiastic. I felt purposeful. I felt whole. There was dancing and hugging and singing and you name it. I love that stuff. And then so I would come home from these Tony Robbins events and just feel a little deflated. Then I had this Airbnb guest who was using heroin upstairs in my home, and that was just uncomfortable. And then I had another little incident, don't want to go into too much detail, but someone was trying to make my life pretty difficult, and he struggles with pretty profound mental illness, so you just had to tread lightly. Regardless, my beautiful sanctuary, the home that I thought would be forever, I was just starting to outgrow. And that's okay. So I knew that I need to practice what I preach, and it was time for me to say, I got to do something different. So now my house is on the market. My house is on the market. I've got buyers with a closing date hopefully before April 24th. So we got less than a month. Home inspection, purchase and sale, we're already done. We're moving forward. But my house has been empty for months. And what I did is that an extraordinary life to me is not living in northern New England in the winter, but instead I knew I wanted to be a snowbird. All of those cold winter folks who come south for the winter. So I jumped in my Toyota Corolla, which I can see right out the window, and I road trip to visit different family and friends all the way down the East Coast. Stayed at a friend's house in DC. I was in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, right outside of Charleston for a month, down to James Island in South Carolina, part of Charleston also, Brunswick, Georgia, played at St. Simon's Beach, went down to Jacksonville, Florida, and I have been now in Fort Myers for a while, Fort Myers, Florida on the West Coast. Dreamy. And that is a perfect example of how I thought I wanted something, and it was my dream come true image of a home, the community that I love and I'm proud of, but at some point I just outgrew it, and that's okay. So then I got clear and specific about what it is that I would love, and I started to define it. Once you start to define it, you start to look at the resources that are available to you so that you can move in that direction. You can have it all. You can have, do, be, give, and create anything you desire, and it doesn't mean it's one and done. It means this is what you desire right now. The joy is in the journey, my friend. So now I had all these speaking gigs planned so I could grow my business. That was another piece why I wanted to leave Laconia, New Hampshire, because I was meeting clients at my dining room table, and it was really time for me to expand my business and start to do speaking gigs all the way down the coast and right here in the South, Florida. I don't know if Florida's the South. Is it? Florida's just Florida. They've all been canceled. And then my speaking gigs back in New England for the summer have been canceled because of coronavirus. And so it would be effortless for all of us, including me, it would be effortless to be frustrated, disappointed, resentful, bitter. Like, I needed that. I wanted that. I planned on that. But unfortunately, that is not the way life works. It isn't. So what we need to do is pivot. What we need to do is to create a new normal. And some of those long-held beliefs and behaviors and feelings might come with you to your new normal, and some of them might not. But this is the beauty of this time and space right now, is that freedom, free will, and choice, you get to decide what brings you joy, what is purposeful or productive or feels good, and you can do more of that. And the things that no longer serve you, you can start to let that go. Really. So when I think about women in Midlife Redefined, my membership community, a lot of them have big ideas but don't know how to get there. Or they have small ideas and feel like they don't want to disappoint their spouse or their children or their boss. So what if that gets too overwhelming? What if they don't like it? What if people have expectations of me and then they end up staying small and stuck? So if you want to create an extraordinary life, we need to start to look at all of the ideas and things that feel good to you and the creativity and abundance and resources. I know things are tight right now. I get that. This is not going to be our forever. This is right now. This is a moment in time in our lifetimes that things have started to shift. So how is it that you can take advantage of this time and space that is affecting everybody, that you might be able to turn inward and ask yourself what is and isn't serving you? So what I would like for you to do is to think about it. Share in the comments below. What would an extraordinary life look and feel like to you? And what I'm asking you specifically is, what is an emotion that you would like to experience regularly because you know it would feel good? Joy, gratitude, appreciation, fun, connection. Like all of these things are, I have to stop talking with my hands, I can't help it. I'm going to sit on them. All of these pieces, all of these emotions is what creates an extraordinary life. Your emotions are your life. I know plenty of people with every resource in the whole wide world, big, expensive, whatever, boat, house, car, dog, it doesn't matter, but they're miserable. And I know people who living paycheck to paycheck, and they are so joyful and always having a good time, and they're generous and fun and funny and sweet. It is not about the stuff and things. An extraordinary life is about your emotional set point. Because once you set that climate that you are going to attract comparable experiences and relationships and situations. One of my favorite analogies, that's kind of crass. One of my favorite analogies, or maybe it wasn't, stop talking, Emily, is that you are the thermostat, not the thermometer. So like when I was a classroom teacher back in the day for years, I was the thermostat. Stop doing that, set the climate. I set the climate for my classroom. Am I super strict and disciplined and short-tempered? No. Instead, I wanted to set the climate to interactive and respectful and organized and controlled, but also really fun. So I was the thermostat, and then the kids responded to the temperature, the climate that I set as a teacher. It's the same thing with you. What happens is when you're the thermometer, someone else is setting the climate and you're giving away your power. Can you hear that? Somebody else is setting the climate and you are responding to their temperature, their emotions, their mood. Perfect example, the news. The news relies on ratings, right? And we are paying attention to this fear-based information in a way that if there's fear-based information coming from the news, it creates a fear within us. So what we're doing is, in this case, the news program is the thermostat and we're the thermometer. So they are setting the climate for fear and we are responding with fear. Don't give away your power. Same thing with your inbox. Your inbox, that's somebody else's agenda. Take back your power. Instead of keeping your inbox open all day to respond to other people, decide what time am I going to check my email today, and then you do that instead of giving away your power. Same thing. If everyone in your house is grouchy and angry and aggressive and violent, then you become that. So instead of being the thermometer, instead of doing what everyone around you is doing, take back your power and own it and decide what you want your life to look like. Decide that your emotional set point so that you can have a beautiful life experience. This is just the beginning. This is a four-part series, and today we're just talking about how to create an extraordinary life. And I promise you, your emotions are what dictate your life experience. So I want you to start to get clear about the emotions that you would love to experience. And what I want you to do, if you're an overachiever, because I will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week at 3 p.m. live on Facebook, or you can join the Zoom link below. But before we get there, we are going to start to, in our next video on Monday, talk about how to get this party started. And I have beautiful activities in this, can you see that, workbook. It's an 8-page, 10-page workbook for you to start to take those first steps. We'll go through all of that in the next video, but if you wanted to download that workbook, you can go to EmilyClementLifeCoach.com/midlife-redefine. But in the meantime, I want you to start to think about the emotional state that would feel best to you. And if you have to manufacture those feelings, that's okay. You might have to fake it till you make it, but I want you to start to increase those, move up the emotional scale to get into a vibration that looks and feels good to you. You have a phenomenal afternoon. I look forward to seeing you in the next video Monday at 3 p.m. Link is below. Have a good one.